Hello everybody, welcome to Red Toolhouse. I'm Troy. Today I want to tell you a really cool story, and it involves my son and some craft work that he was doing down in our workshop. So if you've been with the channel, you know back in February we did a video where we featured a 10-watt laser engraver that we were using, kind of testing out and seeing how it worked. Well, Cam, my 17-year-old, really fell in love with playing with that technology. And so another company saw our video, reached out to us and said, hey, would you like to try a 20 watts? More powerful, more features. And I said, absolutely. You know, we're not a laser engraving channel, but my son's really interested in this. It's a pretty cool side hustle, and it even fits with what we've talked about on this channel before about side hustles and making money so you can stay on the homestead. So recently, Kelly and I celebrated our 28th wedding anniversary. And so Cam got in his mind that he wanted to make a gift for us for our anniversary. Cam took it upon himself not only to make this gift for us down in the workshop, but he also shot video of it. So I'm going to do the narration as he shared the video with me, and I can kind of tell what's going on there because he doesn't feel that comfortable doing all the talking and videoing and work. So here's the really cool story I want to tell you, and be sure to stick around at the end so you can see the big reveal when he presents it to Kelly. So the first thing Cam did was set up the Creality laser engraver on the new table he built, and we actually did a video of that. We may release that later. But the Creality came with an air assist, so he's hooking up the air assist hose. And they also sent some additional accessories that don't necessarily come with the box, but it was just to kind of help us get a hang of it. And that's a honeycomb table and some other things. So digging through the scraps, Cam found some walnut and he found some red maple. And he thought that would be good to contrast the wood and make a cutting board or a breadboard, I think is the direction he was going. He's going to cut them to length so he could do his ripping easier. My wood usually has a bit of a curve to it. So it allowed him to set up the fence here and start ripping strips down. And some of you may be wondering, hey, how proficient is your son with table saw and doing this type of stuff? And obviously there was somebody helping with the videography. That was me. So I was videographer and technical advisor in this situation. He shows proficiency with this equipment, and even to the point when we were working with walnuts, he knew that walnut dust is a little bit more dangerous to be breathing in, so he put a respirator on for that. And like a good son does, he protects my table saw since we don't have a really good assembly table yet. So he puts our old countertop down here so he can start laying out his breadboard design. And so you can see this really good contrast with the walnut and the maple. And he decided to do a little asymmetrical stuff here and save some of his cutoffs so he could actually make multiple boards. I think maybe in his mind he was thinking he could possibly make a mistake and have a backup if he needed it. So copious amount of clamps are needed, and so he got our clamps together, started applying the glue. Now I told him to use glue liberally when he does glue ups, and he really took that to heart. So Cam knows how to lay the glue to stuff. So he did a really good job putting all that together. You can see here he's looking for that squeeze out. That's one thing I had taught him is you want squeeze out throughout. So that last section of maple just not closing up. So he had to get a pipe clamp to really clamp that down and get what he needed to. Wiping down that glue just helps running through the sander and saves you some hassle later after it dries. So he places up against the wall here and ready to take it on the next day. Now that the glue's dry the following day, he's going to take his clamps off there and just see what he's left with and see if he had to do any scraping or edging before it was time to run through the drum sander. Multiple passes through the drum sander. This thing's really handy. Obviously, it allows him to really get a clean surface, and he got it smooth the way he wanted it. Now he's just truing up the edges on the table saw. And my old crosscut sled, it needs some work. Now what he's doing, he's finding the dead center of the breadboard. So this is how he's going to choose to do all the layout for his laser engraving. He's going to be doing words at the top and words at the bottom and a hard inlay in the center with some text. So this center line is going to be the anchor. It's going to be the master. So he strikes a good line there, and he's going to use that in his setups. So moving over to the laser, you can see this is a honeycomb table he's sitting the product on. And this is an upgrade. He spent his own money to get a larger honeycomb table. He was really excited to have a bigger surface area there to lay stuff on. And we came up with this system because there's jigs and things that you can buy, but we don't have those yet. And it came up with a system to measure how to get the breadboard parallel to the cutting head or the engraving head. So we just came up with a system to do that. Now he's using the leveler to set the proper height. This is kind of a little stair piece, a little tool that comes with it that tells you what height to set it at depending on what you're doing. This is just a test run. This is called framing. So he's just framing it out to get an idea of exactly where the laser is going to cut before we turn it on. Now he feels confident that it's where he needs to be, and it's go time. So the way this is engraving, it's taking the artwork and it's starting right in the dead center, and it's going to go to the right and do it all, and then it's going to come do the left. So you can see as it's working now on the left side, everything left of center is what it's working on. Little time lapse here to quickly show the bottom area, the text that he added there. And I'm going to explain this text later in the video. You'll hear, if you're not familiar with it, you'll understand why it is important to Kelly and I. Now this Creality Falcon2 is a pretty big step up from our 10 watt that we had earlier this year. This is a 22 watt, so it's got some much more power, and it's a really fast laser as well. It boasts 25,000 millimeters per minute at its highest settings. It has this air assist system we talked about, and it's adjustable, so Cam can adjust it however he wants. The air assist is critical in keeping scorching from the edge of the cutting surface. It really minimizes that, keeps the debris out of the way. The system has multiple monitoring systems. So it has an airflow monitoring, so you can check and see how your airflow is going. It has lens monitoring, so like if your lens gets dirty and it affects the quality of the laser or the potency of the laser, it'll let you know. And then the most important thing, of course, is the flame monitoring in case you get a fire popping up there. Another feature that was very nice is the frame actually came pre-assembled out of the box. So you didn't have to do all of that assembly like we did on the 10 watt, and all the belts are in place. All of those things are taken care of, so it really reduces any user error in setup. There you go. There are a lot of accessory options when it comes to the Creality Falcon2. One is the honeycomb table that we talked about. They also sent us a rotary device, so if you want to do something curved, and also a nice cover that is not only to keep dust off of it, but it's really like a protective cover because the amber screen allows you to not get any laser light in your face. You're able to also hook up dust collection to it, so you can pull that smoke out. And that's one thing nice you'll hear in the video. You'll hear my dust collector running in the back, and having that under the hood would be even more beneficial. Obviously, we didn't use the hood through the video, so you could see what was going on. So after Cam got the verses engraved, it was now time to do an inlay. And man, for my days in the past to do an inlay, this makes this an absolute breeze. So we have some cherry wood here that he planed down to just a cat's whisker of 1/4 inch. So this laser in one pass at medium setting is cutting through this cherry like it's butter. That's just unbelievable. And the cut was so clean. And you can see how it just lifts it right up out of there. Look at the edges on this, just super clean edges. So now it's time to cut the recess, which this is a longer process. I think this took about 40 minutes to do, according to Cam. And this is what the inlay is going to go down in. So this is burning out about 3/8 inch deep into the board. Actually, I think it's about 1/4 inch deep into the board. So he's got a test fit, and this is where, From a guy that's done inlay for years by hand, it just amazes me how technology allows you to do that. You need to clean up some of the soot and get some of that out of the way. And what's funny, there were some high spots where the glue was. So the laser cut through everything, but the intensity was diminished a bit when he hit the glue area. So now he's obviously filling the cavity full of glue, and you can see very liberal with the glue again. So he's using his recess as a well to dip glue out, putting glue on both pieces, of course, and going to get a very, very snug fit here. In fact, he needs to take the fine adjustment tool and get it to seat properly. Now, we intentionally left this proud so he could run it through the drum sander and get it down to the size he wants, but we're not sanding any of the letters that we engraved. He's going to finish up with the hand sander to get that absolute smooth surface and take out any of the rough areas. And then lastly, he's going to set this up again because he's going to do some laser engraving on the inlay itself. So it's kind of a multi-step process. Engrave, then cut inlay, and then engrave again. So just lining up, finding the dead center of that heart. You can see a center line there, I believe. Yeah, showing up. So center line, lining that laser up. It'll let you turn on the laser without burning, so you can see where it's going to start. And now he's just burning in mine and Kelly's first name and the year that we got married in the center of the hearts. Really nice touch there. Now, if you know anything about cherry wood, the cream color it is now, as that oxidizes, it'll just get darker and darker and darker red. And that'll be a great contrast with that brighter maple and the really dark walnut. So now just kind of doing a final inspection and clearing out all the sawdust and everything from the letters because he's going to get ready to put some stain on it. He also has to round off the corners so to just give it be easy on the edge of the hands. Those rounded corners just make it nicer on hands. Doing a final sand on the back sides just so it'll have smooth texture to it. One more cleanup to get all the dust and debris out before he applies the stain. And for stain, he's chosen a salad bowl finish, which he's used on some of his other cutting boards he's done. And the beauty of this, it wipes on real easy. And of course, it can be food contact, so it's food safe. And that way, if Kelly decides she's actually going to cut some food on this beautiful creation, then it won't make anybody sick. And now it's time for the big reveal. Hey, Cal, come look what Cam made for our anniversary.
Gosh, that is so cool. You made that?
Yes, I did.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome.
Well, thank you.
That is so cool.
So do you recognize those lyrics?
I do. That's from our song.
Yes. Isn't that cool?
That's so cool. How did you know how to do all that? That is so pretty. What are the different woods?
It's walnut, maple, and cherry.
That is so pretty. I love that. You did a great job.
Thank you.
I didn't even know you were making something.
Ain't that cool?
That is so cool.
Happy anniversary.
Aw, thanks, babe. Thanks, Camo.
You're welcome.
Hug me. I love it.
Are you going to cut bread on it or anything?
Well, I don't want to mess it up.
Well, it's kind of a breadboard. That's why you put most of the words at the top and the bottom, so all your crumbs wouldn't get in it.
So I have to maybe hang it on the wall.
I like it. It's a good idea. So I'm just blown away by his effort and desire to make that for us, to help us celebrate our anniversary. And if you're all wondering, the verse inscripted on there, that was from mine and Kelly's song when we were back in high school, and we looked like this. So that was the rock and roll days, and that's still considered our song that we enjoy from time to time. Well, I really appreciate Creality for sending that laser engraver to us, and I know we're going to do a lot of great work with that. Cam is excited to do that. In fact, We're getting ready to turn our web store on, and I believe those are going to be some products available in our web store, are some of Cam's custom crafts. So keep an eye out for that if you guys want to help support his little side business. I love seeing a teenager work on that stuff instead of just doing right. Well, I appreciate everybody watching. Y'all have a great week. Take care.